Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Iwa, and today I'm in front of you. For those who've been here, you know that I hardly come in front of you on the camera, but today I'm here because there's something we need to talk about. This video is forcing me, of course, to come. So for those who haven't been here, thank you very much for being here as well. I believe this is the beginning of our long journey together. All right, so in this video, I just want to talk about car financing, mainly approvals versus affordability, because a lot of people, I think, they tend to rely on other people, in this case including the banks, to say can they afford something or not, which in this case is obviously the cars, because I'm talking about the cars. So the bank is likely going to approve more than they're going to say no. And the reason is that they are here to make money. They are forced by law not to do certain things. The National Credit Act is protecting you from certain things, protecting you from you actually. So they are forced by law not to approve certain things, because then if they are just approving, they will be regarded as reckless and they might lose their licenses. So that's the thing that you need to know. They're here to make money. So for you, when you going there to make an approval for application, rather, for whatever vehicle that you need to get, actually, I'm on the side of the road and there's construction. I'm intruding in their area and they're busy, so forgive me if you hear like sounds like the bulldozer or whatever is passing just by. So what's happening with this thing is that you need to be aware of what is it that you can really afford, because I believe no one can tell you that. You need to be aware of that in that case, because I'm looking at what influenced this for me actually is the VPI report that I was reading from TransUnion, which is one of the credit bureaus in the country, one of the biggest actually. So in that report, what I realized is that for quarter 3 of 2021, 111,000 vehicles were financed. That is a lot, because when I'm looking at it over a year, I might say around 400 and something thousand. And let me just round it up to 500,000 finance deals that have been made. So that's a lot of people. And I would say then it makes sense, because we're in a country where obviously not all of us can afford to buy this cars cash. In fact, it's more usual than not that a lot of people are financing their cars on the road. And you'd be shocked that it's, you know, when I looked at that report more and more and more, trying to understand, okay, fine, who are financing and so on, the age groups, I realized that it's between 24 around there and 55 somewhere there. So those are the kind of things that I think you can get from that report. So I want to put that link to that report down there. You can just get it and see it for yourself if you want more information from it. What intrigued me though was when they were trying to unpack this thing of then which category of cars in terms of prices are being financed more. I realized that the cars are more than 300,000 category is the one that is leading. 44% of the finance deals that are made are more than 300,000. That is telling you that we love some premium and luxury cars in this country. And it makes sense, because people love nice things. People didn't have nice things. People make themselves feel better through nice things. And that is something that I think is happening here. So now, when I looked further than that, and I'm thinking, okay, fine, a lot of people are financing this amount of cars, but at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of articles talking about the repossessions. The South Africans are defaulting on their installments. They are not paying on time. They are doing this. They are doing that. People are taking back their cars. They're downgrading. This, for me, are the results of like almost poor planning, because when you think about it, it's something that if you had prior knowledge of what might happen to you, you might mitigate some of these things. Some of them you can't control, like COVID. You're losing your job. It's something that really you can't say I foresee it coming, and it's gonna force you to take drastic decisions like taking the car back and so on and so on. So I'm not talking about those kind of decisions in this case, because there are things that you can control and things that you can't control. One that you can control, for example, is when the bank is asking you, okay, how much is whatever you are earning, right? I have this thing on the phone actually. Let me just check quickly. They will give you, so this is the form that we used for financing this particular vehicle that I'm sitting in, because it's also financed. I'm one of everyone was financing. So they'll be asking you for personal details, They'll be asking you about employment details and income and all those things. And then when you get to the statement of assets and liabilities, that's where then things are starting to be interesting. Of course, you can't lie about your assets and liabilities. They'll know because they're a bank. They can be able to find out how much you invested where and all those things. So your assets is your investments, whatever you own, your house, your car, your whatever is an asset to you or to them, it's something that you're going to be putting here. The liabilities, everything you owe, especially long term, those are the things that they want to see here. That is what we call your statement of financial position, assets and liabilities, like your position, right? Now, the biggest thing that is going to drive whether they give you a car is this one of personal statement of income, right? Monthly income, rather, where they're asking you, okay, how much is your salary, how much is your commission, your other income, and all those funny things. Whatever you say, the bank is going to be considering it. Yes, the bank, what they need to do is to look at all these things, assess, look at your bank statements and all those things that you're going to be giving them to see if then they can give you this particular vehicle that you're looking for. At the end of the day, they really want to give you, but they need to just be sure, because then what if you're not going to pay them back? Then they go through the process of repossession and it's going to take forever. They want to avoid that, as well as the National Credit Act obviously is protecting you as a consumer. Okay, now we get to the income. When you're looking at the income, please, I need you to look at the income in present terms, because that's what you have today. No, don't look at, hey, I have this plan, my brother is going to be giving what in the future, or I'm going to be moving to a bigger higher position in future, or what. No, look at it today, because you're applying for that today. That's the money you have today, so look at it today, right? Now you're going to get to the expenses, and that's where now the mentality needs to change, to say, okay, fine, the expenses are something different. When you get to the expenses, you need to say to yourself that, okay, the bank is looking for my current expenses. When they're asking me how much is my salary deductions, how much is my loan repayment, the insurance, all these things that are here, student loans, credit cards, and all those, okay, how much are these things that I'm paying, like the expenses, all those things that I've mentioned right now. What I need you to focus on is when they're going to be asking you about entertainment and other here, down here, because that's the part that I believe a lot of people are not necessarily considering well. I need your mind to be totally different. I need to repeat this. Income, think about it, what you're getting. Like when you're thinking about income, think about what you're getting today. When you're thinking about expenses, think about what you're still going to incur in future, because now you are getting this vehicle, because now you have plans to spend on this and that, right? So that's the thing that I need us to touch on. Let me put this phone down. Okay, so when it comes to expenses, I need you to think about it in a way that, as much as you might not be telling the banks this, because when you're looking at the bank's application, you are so emotional. You just want to see yourself in this car. You want to shine. You want to enjoy. You want to, this is something that you really want. So your emotions are not necessarily there. It's like a drug, man, that is just out there saying, you know what, all I need is this car. So but for you, when you're sitting down, because you're the one who's going to be explaining this, if anything goes wrong, you're the one who's going to be saying to yourself that I messed up. That's just the reality of things. No one needs to be to blame for this thing. When you're looking at this thing, you need to think deeply about your plans in future. When you're thinking about expenses, okay, fine, my future expenses are going to be this. I'm getting this car. I'm probably going to incur more insurance. You're going to consider that even before you sign for this thing, because they're going to show you, okay, fine, like I did in the other video where I showed you the installment doesn't end there. You know that very well. You're still going to pay for maintenance of the car and all those funny things. So now I need you to think going into the future, and not just as and when, like what am I incurring currently. This thing is going to bring more insurance to you, right? You're going to incur more insurance costs. You need to put that in the list. And then of that insurance, you need to remember that, okay, fine, I'm getting a new car now, I'm getting a nice car. The excess of that insurance is going to be whatever it is. And you need to save more now, because then you need to always have that access with you. If anything goes wrong with the car, the excess that you're going to be paying on that particular insurance, remember the excess is that whatever the insurance is going to be paying, you need to cover it up to this point. So if you damage the car up to 50,000, and if your excess is 10,000, you have to take out 10,000, and then you need to take out 10,000, and then the bank then is going to fork out the rest, right? So that's the thing that you need to remember. So you always need to have that access with you. Then you think beyond that. You're like, okay, fine, what if then I lose a tire within a week, which has happened to me. I bought a tire I got into a construction area, it was hit by a nail, and then I had to replace the whole thing. So that those kind of things can happen. You can lose a tire any day. You know, you can lose like simple things on maintenance parts and whatever's. Those are the things that either you pay for maintenance today, or you're going to be maintenance plan rather today, or you're going to be incurring it when it happens. So you need to save more, right? And then you need to consider your plans. Okay, fine, maybe you don't have a child today, but you're planning to have one next year around whatever, next year June. You want a bundle of joy to come, and you're thinking now you still can afford, because then you're thinking about today. It's not going to work because this car is a 5-year term and you are sitting here today and you're not sure if that boss is going to give you that promotion, by the way. So now you're sitting with a situation then when you're thinking now, you're saying, okay, fine, I have this kind of plans. You know, I have, I can't reiterate this more. You need to think about the future. Are you planning to register for another course that you're going to be paying for example? Ne? Are you going to incur more parking costs at your place? Because I know some areas where you have to pay for parking to get your car parked in a safe area and whatever. Are you going to incur additional security costs? There's still tracker. There's still security surrounding your actual vehicle when it's sitting wherever it's going to be parking. You need to think about those costs as well. You need to think about your household. You have entertainment. You have food that you need to eat, right? When you think about that, you might think clearly, you know what, I'm spending like 1,000. It's not just that 1,000, and you know for sure that there are people who are spending much more than that. Oh man, there's a big truck coming. I need to keep quiet just a bit. Yo. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you need to think now to say, okay, fine. The biggest thing that you need to consider whenever you looking at these expenses is, out of my income, when I get this car, what am I going to be left with? Am I going to be able to live? You know, am I going to be able to cover the emergencies in my life? Am I going to, if I get a call right now that is an emergency at home, am I going to be able to cover it? Or am I not going to be able to? If my friends are asking me that we can go where, you know, to have whatever we need to have, am I going to be able to have petrol? Or am I going to always just be giving excuses, you know? Am I going to be able to go to work with this car and pour petrol for the whole month without even whining or complaining, you know? And then still be left with something that, you know, as a person, you always needs to have that emergency buffer in your account, so that if anything happens, you know that you can be able to cover it. And that's the mentality that you need to bring whenever you bring in this thing. The mere fact that the bank has approved, they're just saying we're giving you business because we can see that out of whatever that you have, you can be left with it, with this 3,000, where you're going to cover yourself in terms of the cash, the car, and the insurance. They don't think beyond what you have in your own household. So that's the thing that you need to put down whenever you're drafting this thing of, I need to buy a car. You need to draft that budget. Don't go there and be like, can I afford this thing? You give them the pay slips, you give them whatever you, and they're saying, no, you know, you're good, you can afford this thing, you can afford. No, you're the one who knows your real pocket beyond all these approvals by someone else. I'm gonna stop again. What's coming? Oh man, Caterpillar is massive. Okay, I think I covered almost everything anyway. So with that said, I think if there's any questions, you can ask me, because you know you need to draft your own personal budget and be activity based. Think about your entertainment, think about your lifestyle, think about everything else that you're going to be incurring. Don't just think about, I can afford this car. Always think about, how much am I going to be left with when I'm getting this car out of this dealership today. You always need to think about that, because you don't want to buy a car and not be able to leave afterwards. That's the worst thing that you can do for yourself, because it's going to be packed. You're going to look at it, you're not going to enjoy it at all. With that said, I truly appreciate that you were here with me today, and I am out. No. I can't be out before I thank you for being here, stretching it all the way, and then now I can say I am out. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, peace.